welcome back to Gay Fat Friend and Friends, the podcast for friends. I didn't think of a word today. Joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny, beautiful, adorable, viral husband, Rob.
Hello.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
How's it going?
All right.
Okay.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah. It's also Friday evening.
Yeah.
Which is new for us. Usually
Yeah.
we record Sundays at like noon, and today it is Friday after 5 o'clock. So he's already 3 sheets to the wind.
Whoa, man.
Already done a couple shots. This Coke Zero is filled with straight vodka.
There's no soda in that at all.
Yeah. Some of us work to live and some of us live to work. And Rob works to Fridays so he can start drinking.
Except, yeah, none of that is true at all.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time you drank alcohol.
Nor can I.
You're not much of a drinker.
No, it's been a long time. I mean, I used to be able to, put away a 6-pack of beer while bowling and stuff. But yeah.
And you still can if you choose to.
Oh, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. I just haven't really seen the benefit of it.
It's not like you're court ordered to not drink.
No, it's just been sort of something I don't miss that much.
You also are breaking the genetic cycle because your genetics have a tendency to be alcoholics.
Yes.
And you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And neither does your sister.
No.
Honestly, I've only seen your sister drink like 1 drink, maybe 2 drinks in a row. I've never seen your sister waste it.
Although my sister has a genetic liver disorder that actually creates,
True.
But the crazy thing is, it makes her liver actually larger than it should be, which is why my sister can put it away.
Yeah,
because she toured with a musician. She's a professional musician, and she toured.
She's a professional French hornist?
Yes.
Is there a term?
Yeah.
French hornist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was traveling with a musician. And
Can we not say his name?
I don't know. Screw it. She toured with Josh Groban
they're
for
friends.
both. Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, no, she had a great time, and it was a good show, and he was apparently really great to work with. She did both the American and international tour, and she became known on the band tour bus as the woman that makes the lethal margaritas.
Yeah.
Because basically she doesn't really do a lot of margarita mix. It's basically tequila and lime. And that's about it. And a lot of people are not prepared for that. And then they end up with their, ass on the ground. And she was apparently just fine. And later we found out that it might have been her liver thing, which is why she's able to kind of just blow through that with no problem.
Yeah, she pretty much invented the skinny girl margarita before, Bethany Frankel did it?
Yeah.
Because, I think it literally is just tequila,
and
lime juice, and then whatever ice melts in the shaker.
Right. I think that's about it. Probably maybe a salt rim, but they were on a tour bus, so I don't know if there was that much of a garnish involved at all. I think it was one of the very first things I ever shared and bonded with your sister over when we first started dating, all the way back in the early 20 teens. I remember your sister making her Ritas. They're named after her last name, and I don't want to say her last name. Yeah. So they're named after her, and her Ritas they are potent and they are delicious. Yeah, but they are, if you are expecting a, kind of margarita mix experience, prepare to be shocked.
Yeah. And her husband, your brother-in-law, my brother-in-law as well? I don't think so. Sure. Anyway, her husband and Rob's stepfather are, what's it called? Scotch drinkers. They are brown liquor connoisseurs, and they have vast bar knowledge of brown liquors. And I love an old-timey cocktailer. I love an old-timey, drinker that has kind of a who's afraid of whatever happened to Baby Jane kind of liquor store order, where they're like, give me the regular, and then they go down and pick up 5 bottles. Oh, I love that. I love a good person that celebrates a cocktail hour at home. It's such a good time.
They do, they have all the particular bar glass or barware. They always kind of do it right.
Because, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I'm a drinker. I don't have a problem. I can quit whenever I want. I actually haven't had anything to drink in a while. Yeah. But I love a good cocktail, and I love beer, and I love wine. I love it all. But I love to drink, and I love drinking culture. I love bars. I love liquor stores. I just love it.
Well, and it's so funny because, I feel like when we first met, we were going out, and we were tying one on every Saturday night. And then Sunday, we would often be hungover until, 9
all
p.m.
Day.
It was awful. We could have multiple meals, and we were a mess.
I was just going to say, lots of McDonald's, lots of Taco Bell.
And it was one of those where it was kind of like, I kind of realized that drinking is fun. It's hard, though, to have another day that is not well lived because of it.
Yeah.
And so, that was, I think, the trade-off for me on that one.
I'm finding out now, at 43 years old that I wake up hungover no matter what I do the day before. I roll out of bed, achy, sore, tired, whether I've had 2 bottles of wine or whether I just drank water all night. So.
Well, and it's funny because we talked about how weird of a sleeper I am, and this last week has been kind of a.
I mean, I don't know if it's because we've been talking about it, because we told our secrets, our sleepy time secrets, but Rob's sleep talking has been adorable this week and abundant.
I have woken myself up, I would say on average 5 times per night, saying a line from my dream out loud, and that's why I'm waking myself up
and waking me up along with you, because I am the lightest sleeper known to man. I wake up, Ruby walks in, this is our bedroom door right here. Ruby walks in this door every morning to wake us up. I can hear her nose hitting the door. That wakes me up just the instant she makes a noise.
But yeah, I think I literally woke myself up saying, like, that's not what he's known for. And I was like, okay.
It's always a sentence.
Yeah, it's just, it's a very clear, like, yes, I will have fries with that kind of, like, what? And then I wake up. It's just like, oh, man. And
the other night, like 3 nights ago, you were sleeping on your stomach, which is also kind of rare for you. You were sleeping on your stomach, and you, like, propped yourself up on your elbows and turned towards me and woke me up. And I don't remember what you said, but the tone of it was so adorable, almost like we were like coworkers or something. And I want to say you're like, yeah, I left it in the fridge in the break room. Like, you said just the sweetest little sentence to me. And I was like, and I said, what? And then you literally just went, poof, slammed your head back on your pillow, and you were out. And then I was like, oh, he's sleeping. He's sleeping.
But yeah, it's been a weird week. I have not been waking up very rested, and everything in the world just seems like it's going out of its way to just annoy me.
Yeah.
Also, though, I don't have a lot of patience this week. Like, a very short fuse.
It's been a really globally shitty week, which I actually wanted to talk about. But I promise, guys, don't tune out. There is a happy ending to this story. Rob just told me this. Long and short of it, asshole buttlicker gave that speech about women belong in the kitchen and gays shouldn't have pride because it's a deadly sin. And a lot of people didn't even listen to the whole speech because the whole speech was terrible. I mean, he was racist. He was anti-Semitic, everything. I mean, he did like old-timey anti-Semitic tropes. Like, he ran the whole gambit of every bad thing you could possibly say.
And like the follow-up even kind of dug deeper, at least from what I've heard. It could be, I'm hoping this wasn't a parody. I believe it actually was real, but like, he literally talked about how, like, we should go back to the 50s when
I think was parody.
Okay, because like I've heard a thing just being like, where he was saying like when Me Too was like a woman saying, I'm ready to have my 4th kid, and her friend said, me too.
Yeah.
Like, just there's some like, there's some gross.
I mean, I've done zero research, but that has to be fake. I can't imagine that would be a follow-up. I don't think he's made a statement yet. And the Chiefs haven't made a statement.
But like, yeah.
Anyway, we just want you to know that none of that is real. None of that is like, none of his opinions mean anything. It's all just hate speech, and it's all just trash and belongs in the gutter. We know as gay people, we are worth $1 million. As women, you are worth more than anything on the planet. We're all special and valuable and worth a lot. So don't listen to like creepy old weirdos like him. That's not what I want to focus on today.
But and also, as much as I want him to be a hypocrite, and everyone's talking about the fact that he may have hooked up with a male cheerleader at Georgia Tech and all this sort of stuff, and everyone loves to post pictures of him being very metro with his little bag, walking from a flight.
Bags multiple.
But guess like. You calling him gay is not really the gotcha that you think it is. Because
it generally is never the flex you think it is.
It's kind of just talking shit about us now. And also, we don't want him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Not at all.
It's like Aaron Schock. He's a piece of shit, and I don't care if he's gay, but because seriously, like, I don't claim him. He's out. He doesn't get invited to the barbecue. He's not cool. He's not coming.
Yeah, but anyway, we don't want to focus on all the negative because you've all heard it. There's no way you survived last week and you didn't hear that fucking bucktooth asshole speech 17 times. He has the world's most punchable face this week, and hopefully someone will use that coupon.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is, Rob heard a statistic that he has the highest selling football jersey right now. And you're like, of course, Republicans, assholes, MAGAs, racists, whenever a person does something that has merch, a person that they like, a person that is bad does something and has merch, they're going to make that merch skyrocket. But the fun fact that Rob heard is, why don't you tell it?
Well, and first off, at least the way my kind of stance is, hey, if you agree with him so wholeheartedly enough to wear his shit, thank you for labeling yourself as someone that I can avoid.
Thank you for letting us identify you in public so we know who to probably spit in your food if you're at a restaurant.
Right. Like now, it's like between a MAGA hat and his jersey, I know that I just don't need to engage with you because you're not worth my time.
Yeah.
But at least I'd heard this, and I mean, like, I haven't since heard another thing that makes me a little more worried, saying that all of his jerseys are sold out, which that makes me upset.
But when you hear the punchline, the final part of the story, you're going to realize that what that means.
On Threads, they were talking about how his jersey is the top-selling jersey right now. And then I saw a thread from a woman who was like a business analysis person for, I think, fanatics.com or something.
Who works for the jersey used to work for the jersey manufacturer.
Yeah, which is basically affiliated with the NFL thing. So
this is the best part of the story.
She was saying that May, the month we are currently in, is the lowest sales month for the entire year for that organization. They literally referred to Cyber Monday in November as May because that one day sells more than the entire month of May does. So, like, this is a doldrum kind of month for them. So for him to be a top, like, as she ended the tweet saying, like, 20 sales could make him the number one seller right now, just because there's not really a lot of purchasing going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's fine, I guess, for him to be the biggest fish in a shitty, poorly populated pond right now. Let the baby have his bottle. But seriously, I do hope at least that, and it's so funny, I've never looked to her to save the day. I hope that Taylor Nation, or not her specifically, I hope her fans, the Swifties, really do at least kind of demonstrate that their dollar is kind of worth more to the Chiefs than this other
it is, and they will. And I think that's why the Chiefs are developing a plan with Travis, because I don't think it's Taylor's job at all. I don't think Taylor should ever have to acknowledge this.
Yeah.
But Travis does. I wholeheartedly believe that Travis has to acknowledge this, and I think the Chiefs are working with him to develop a plan because they have said nothing.
Well, I did see that the Chiefs' heiress spoke up in support, and based on what I hate to, just make wide, broad strokes here, but based on what she looks like, I'm not surprised.
And they will literally she looked like a fucking weird MAGA Mar-a-Lago lady.
She looks
extensions and eyebrows.
She looks like she's cosplaying as Barbie.
Yeah.
Like she's just trying real hard, but yeah.
She's wearing like a Zara dress and full face of glam, like it's 2019, like anybody does that makeup anymore.
So, anywho,
but yeah. So anyway, back to the story about Buttlicker, his jersey. Just keep it in the back of your head that he may have sold the most jerseys in May, but that was all the jerseys sold in May because people don't sell jerseys in May. So he probably sold 20, and they're sold out everywhere. Because they probably didn't print them. It costs so much money to make jerseys because there's actually like lots of patches, lots of sewing, lots of material. The jersey was probably not made in large quantities, so there's probably only 100 globally to begin with.
But yeah, buttloads of assumptions here on our side, but also, seriously, like I don't know. At least it's a silver lining on the shit sandwich of him being all you can hear about in the news right now.
Yeah, and fuck him. So, but back to talking about Taylor and music, Billie Eilish just released an album today. As we record this, it's Friday.
What? And it's funny. Like, this is another one of those examples of like our different tastes kind of get to fire on the same day, which is fun.
Well, anyway, back to Billie. What I wanted to say is, I think it's funny that her new album came out. It is very much a pour a drink and chill and vibe album, and I think it's funny that like pretty much the first weekend of summer, which is Memorial Day, to release an album right at the beginning of summer that doesn't really have any like summer party bangers on it. That is a choice, but it's a choice that she can make because she has 2 Oscars and she's wildly successful, and she doesn't have to make bangers if she doesn't want to. She can make a vibe out and chill album if she wants to.
Happier Than Ever really didn't have any bangers either.
Oh, there's bangers on there.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like they're all bangers. Like I feel like there's always like 3 singles.
But that was still a pretty ballad heavy album. Like she's not doing a When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Or is that the name of the album? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like she's not doing like her super dark electronic-y stuff right now.
Yeah.
And especially winning an Oscar for Barbie, I'm sure that kind of puts her in a certain gear to continue writing. And plus, like, this is a very a different kind of emotional subject album for her too.
Yeah, you can kind of it's her like coming out of the closet. It's her writing songs about loving girls and having sex with girls and doing whatever she wants, and it's good for her. We just bought the vinyl today. Rob went on a little vinyl hunting mission and got some new vinyls, but yeah, so for me, excited Billie came out with an album today, but for Rob, one of his people came out with something.
Yeah, so it's funny because it's always one of those things of like, Todd gets the very popular, the album that will be number one this coming week, which will be. And I bought the new solo album by Beth Gibbons, who is the lead singer of Portishead. And if you don't know who that is, look them up. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Their album Dummy is nearly, I'd say, not even nearly, I'd say it's top to bottom near a perfect album.
Yeah,
it's so
and
good.
one of the top 10
trip hop examples
top
ever.
20 albums of the 90s.
But yeah, and it's one of the sort of
90s?
Yeah, it was like 98. I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the epitome of trip hop, along with like Massive Attack, Mezzanine. It's one of those kind of desert island albums for people like me.
Yeah. But also what I wanted to say kind of about Billy's album and stuff, and about me and Rob, like, I have so many things in life that are connected to time of year, time of day, weather, smells, everything. And Rob doesn't really have those. I think it's because you grew up in the desert and you really didn't have like seasons. But like what I was saying about Billy's album to release at the beginning of summer, pretty much like Dua Lipa just released an album that is all party bangers and we're going to listen to all summer. I know I am, for like working out, raising my mood. I just listened to it in the shower, like that album has a lot of bangers because it's almost summer. But I feel like for you, you're like, oh, I don't care what time of year it is.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a Christmas album.
You're right. I mean, I think there was one time I was like, I want to listen to Fiona Apple Win the Pawn or something. And he was like, and Todd was like, that's just more of a fall album for me. And I was like, that album has no limits on it. That is a year-round celebration for me. It is just, it's one of the, that's also a near perfect album.
Oh, it's one of my favorite albums of all time.
And it's one of those where it's like, you can't not play it for me any time in the year. If you mention it, I'm like, well, I should go get it and listen.
Well, and I'm also never going to say, no, let's not listen to Fiona. Like, if you ever suggest Fiona, I'm going to say, put it on.
But yeah, it's like,
but I think because that album came out late summer, early fall in 99? Anyway, I know that I fell in love with it and obsessed with it when it came out, and it came out in the fall. So it's like a fall album to me.
Yeah, I mean, and while there may be,
it's not like there's songs about pumpkins.
Well, and while there may be albums that often like make me think of a particular season, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where it's just like, nah, it's not the right season for that.
Yeah,
that's just not how my brain works.
I also do it with like food, smells. Like, do you? I feel like you don't really have a connection to those kind of. Ooh, Ruby's right above us, barking, probably at the mailman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I connect a lot of memories and stuff to smells and food and time of year. Like, I don't want to drink a pumpkin spice latte today, but like, would that bother you? Do you even care?
I mean, I don't like pumpkin spice in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whatever you do, you. Well, it's the same thing. Like
location based. Like, I only want to eat churros.
Oh my God,
I said the wrong word. I only want to eat churros at Disneyland. Side note. We used to watch this Disney vlogger.
Hate watch.
This Florida Disney vlogger. So like even worse. But he was a Disney vlogger who went to Disney World every day, and he did not. It's just a stupid white guy. Did not know how to pronounce churro, and he called them Cheerios, like Cheerios without the I. And so we did that thing where we made fun of him calling them Cheerios, and now we call them Cheerios because it's an inside joke making fun of that Disney vlogger.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to what I was saying. I have a lot of location-based foods, time of year-based foods, time of day-based foods.
Well, and I know like some people don't watch horror movies except for like the month of October.
Yep.
I don't understand them. And I know like we at least every October go out of our way to watch an entire horror franchise.
Yeah,
and
we've done that a lot.
That's a fun themed thing. But also, we watch horror movies year round.
Yeah, we also watch franchises year round.
Yeah, but like especially though, I mean, like we always kind of select one horror franchise to really kind of at least devour within that 30 days, and or at least we start it in that 30 days, and often it finishes in November.
What's the longest one that we did? Was it Friday the 13th?
I think it's Friday the 13th because that one has
including the remakes and the reboots.
Because that has 10 plus a like what. I think, because, is it Jason X and then Freddy vs. Jason? So, I want to say there's, like, already 10 of them, and then there's the crossover, the reboot. Like, it's just, there was quite a bit there. So, that one had a ton. I mean, Saw has 10 at this point.
We watched all the Chuckies.
Which that was, like, 7 or 8?
Yeah. We watched all the Leprechauns, but there's not a lot of those.
That was 7.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's, there's, Nightmare on Elm Street, there's 6 plus a remake.
Yeah, I think we've watched every franchise now, except like we haven't done like Pumpkinhead, but there's only like 2 or 3 of those.
And we didn't do Puppet Master, but those aren't scary.
We didn't do Phantasm. Is that?
Yeah, we haven't done Phantasm yet.
We did all the Hellraisers.
Well, we did all the Hellraisers that people consider to be canon.
What didn't we do?
There are so many Dimension produced, like, straight to videos. I want to say there's like 9 Hellraiser movies, and we watched 4 of them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because basically after 4, everyone's like, just stop, just don't bother. It's that's when like Clive Barker was barely involved. It's just kind of like no longer the series. Yeah. A lot of people only consider the first 3 to actually be
the recent Netflix remake. I thought was a reboot. I loved it.
I liked it, and Jamie Clayton was a really cool choice for Pinhead, especially having read the novella. Like the Pinhead character is described in a very, very sort of
trans way.
No, just in a very like. Yeah, they're described as very, what's the word? Oh my God, androgynous.
Yes.
Sort of way, and so if anything, like they kind of butched up Pinhead significantly for the first film. For the original. And so Jamie is a much better fit, just given that she's able to kind of bring in that sort of that femininity to it. It was actually a really interesting take on that.
Yeah. But seriously, highly recommend watching a franchise in October leading up to Halloween. It's really fun.
Seriously.
And then there's, I also have a list of must watch. Like my first Halloween movie of the season is Lost Boys, and I usually watch it right after my birthday because my birthday is August 26th. So then we do Labor Day, and then it's fall season. And so my very first Halloween movie I usually watch is Lost Boys because it's so good. It's just so gay and good. But yeah, I was going to ask, so what I wanted to know is, do you have any location-based or memory-based, like, foods or restaurants? Like, is there only a place you want to go to in December? Like, because I have millions of those.
No. I honestly cannot think of one.
I didn't think so, but I didn't want to just proclaim it.
I can't think of one place I'd want to go in December that I wouldn't want to go in June.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Same with, like, foods.
I mean, aside from, like, a water park, I don't want to go to a water park in the winter. Like, but that's just plain... That's common sense.
Yes.
But, yeah, just in general, though, I'm like... it's not like, I really want to go to the movies this season. No. Although, I guess I used to go to the movies a lot during the summer because I wasn't in school and it was cold.
I'm talking, like, food. Or, like, drinks or anything like that. Probably not, right?
I mean, I definitely, there's like the seasonal stuff where like I up my hot chocolate intake in the winter, but that's because it's warm and it's cold out.
That's true. And we eat more popcorn in the summer.
Yeah.
Because we make, you guys, I don't want to like talk out of school. I don't even know if that's the right phrase. We make the best homemade popcorn. Like, we're really good at it. Well, we have it down to a science.
That was one of the things that we really committed to during the pandemic, because like we kind of just upped our home theater game significantly and just really kind of committed to the home movie experience.
Yeah.
Although we cheated for a little bit. Excuse me. Right when we moved to Seattle, we lived in a complex that basically shared a wall with a movie theater. And so, and it's so funny because every time I was in the elevator doing this, people would look at me like, oh, I never thought of that.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah. And so like we paid for like the Cinemark membership that gives you discounted snacks and stuff. And I would literally just go to the movie theater in like sweatpants and a hoodie, go to the snack bar, get a large popcorn, 2 large fountain drinks, maybe candy or something. And then I'd turn around, go back down the escalator and leave. Yeah. And I just take it home and we'd watch a movie at home. And every time I shared an elevator with somebody holding a full bucket of popcorn, they're always like, what? And I was like, movie theater's right there. I'm watching a movie at home so we can pause and I can go pee. And they're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Well, and plus, like I was thinking about it, like we couldn't have done that in LA because all the concessions in LA, especially at the theaters we used to go to, most of them are closed now, are inside after you swipe your ticket.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you wouldn't be able to go to concessions at ArcLight in Hollywood or at the Grove. You can't go because all the concessions are inside ticketing. Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to get in. But, yeah, luckily, the movie theater up here in Seattle that we lived by.
The only gate that it had to get through at that time was to show your vaccination card.
Oh, yeah. It was back when we saw to show vaccine cards.
That was the only way that the snack bar was gated.
Yeah. But if you live near a movie theater and you can get concessions, just go. What's stopping you?
Right. Well, and
live your life.
And as soon as we were moving out, they started selling basically like the Simpsons joke of a trash bag of popcorn. They literally it was a big plastic bag with a handle, and it was like $13, but seriously, it was like several buckets worth of popcorn, and I was like, well, that would be interesting if we wanted to just eat popcorn for the next 2 to 3 days.
But also, it's only good because it's warm and fresh,
right? Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, it's funny. So we record this, obviously, and I can see us in the monitor. We record this on video, I should say, because we put it on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, check it out, gang. But anyway, we record it and I can see us on the monitor. And I was just thinking, it reminded me of something that I just found out this week, which is so weird because I think about it all the time. But I'm sure you may have noticed that, Rob has like a swallowing tick. I have a swallowing tick where like we'll say like 5 words and then we'll swallow or make like a throat thing. But I recently found out, so I have what I like to call a sensitive throat. Keep your mind out of the gutter, but I have a sensitive throat because I'm the type of person that will choke to death on a drop of spit. And like Rob fears for my life all the time because I'll just be talking, inhale like a very weird way, and all of a sudden I cannot breathe. My throat just goes... Or closes off.
Even worse, sometimes not talking. He'll just start choking to death.
For no reason. It runs in my family. My mom does it really bad. My brothers have it too. Like I can remember several times growing up just eating dinner at the dinner table with my family and all of a sudden my mom is like choking to death. Like it's not on food. It's like the type of where you inhaled a little bit of soda or like water and our throats just close up and we freaking choke to death. But I recently found out that is just a normal condition of people. And as you age, it gets worse. And like, it's one of the reasons why like old men always clear their throat is because like it's a natural lubrication thing of your throat. And as you get older, the system kind of breaks down and it doesn't know when to stop lubricating and all this stuff.
Goody.
Yeah. So all that to say, God damn it, getting old is always a losing streak. Can we never win anything?
Yeah.
There's no. I've gone to doctors. I've tried to research this. Like I'm just gonna have like a juicy throat. Again, get your head out of the gutter. I'm always gonna have a juicy throat, and I'm always gonna be choking because apparently it just never stops, and it gets worse as you age. I hate it so much. Having said that, I think it's time to move on to our final segment. What's your order? What's your order? Almost got stuck there.
What will we choke on as we get older?
I have here our trusty blue Rip and Dip shoebox filled with America's favorite restaurants. And by filled, I mean one. There's one left.
Let me at it.
So let's pick out today's restaurant and say what our order is. Rob, would you do the honors?
Where it is. Oh, hey.
I just pretty womaned him with the lid.
Oh, and also for the people watching the video and I guess for anyone that feels like they're missing out on watching the video, here's a little something for you that my shirt has to offer.
Oh, yeah. He's wearing the Rip and Dip shirt to go with the Rip and Dip box.
Yeah, don't describe it because now people have a reason to go look at the video.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're going to have to watch us on YouTube to see what Rob's shirt is. But
so
today's restaurant is
one that made the news this week.
Yeah.
Red Lobster.
Beep, 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 beep. I love Red Lobster.
I do too.
So Red Lobster is and will always be a fancy restaurant to me. It's a prom restaurant. I went to both proms, like dinner, because where I went to school, where I grew up, our proms did not serve food. So you always went to a restaurant and then you went to prom. And both proms, junior prom and senior prom, Red Lobster, baby.
Yeah, it's like my prom was always you go for food after. But also I grew up an hour away from LA proper. So my proms were...
Was your prom in LA?
It was always in LA. It was never in my hometown because my hometown was bullshit. So...
I grew up an hour outside of St. Louis. My proms were in St. Louis.
And so we always would... but like they didn't want anyone drinking and driving. I mean, we're all teens anyway. But like they knew that prom night's a bad night for teen drivers. And so we'd all...
Meanwhile, my farm school didn't care at all.
So we would all get into chartered buses at our high school and then drive down. And so I got to go to 3 proms actually because I was dating someone a year older than me. So
probably a girl.
Not probably, it was. And so my girlfriend and I, when I was in
even say it.
When I was in 10th grade, our prom was on the Queen Mary. And then my junior year, it was at Sony Pictures Backlot, which was super cool. And then my senior year, it was at a sort of convention kind of banquet hall on top of a shopping center. It wasn't anything super special, but that year I got to go with a friend, and it was amazing. And like we both wore sneakers, and it was one of those things where like going with a friend, you just have so many less expectations on you. But anyway, regardless though, but it was the thing where like people were upset they couldn't take like a horse carriage to prom. It's like so they ended up taking horse-drawn carriages.
Horse carriage.
People would literally rent horse-drawn carriages and take them to our high school to get on the chartered bus to go down to LA.
Gross.
But anywho, Red Lobster.
Pass.
Like Red Lobster. Like, yeah, tell me more.
Tell you more?
Well, I mean, but
about one of our favorite restaurants?
No, I mean, but like, I feel like, well, anyway, they made the news recently because I think they closed like 99 stores this week. So,
yeah, they closed a bunch without notice. They full on are pulling that new corporate thing where you literally work on a Thursday and you go to work on a Friday and they're like, nope, no more. We're done.
Super weird move.
It's so weird. No, when something like that closes, no one gets severance packages. Maybe the management does, maybe, but none of the servers do. Could you imagine just like, I don't know, you have a vacation in 2 weeks and you have a baby shower this weekend. Instead, like you're just planning your life while still working, assuming you're just going to have a job and have money. And then all of a sudden that money is just taken away from you.
Well, and I heard that like some people showed up for work and like the tables were gone. They had moved the tables out overnight.
Liquidating.
Yeah, like that's
it's such horse shit.
Yeah,
I can't believe that. But
crazy.
Luckily, there is one Red Lobster in Seattle, and luckily it made the cut. It is still open.
Whew.
Yeah. It's still very far away because, like I always say, there's nothing good in Seattle. But at least we have access to a 45-minute drive away Red Lobster.
Yeah. Well, and they make the Cheddar Bay biscuits that you can make at home. So honestly, we do at least get one of the best parts of it on our own.
Which we do. We always get the big Costco box of the mix and make our own Cheddar Bays at home.
Well, and also that chicken cobbler recipe that went viral on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
That uses that biscuit mix.
Got to use that biscuit mix. We use it a lot. So at least like it's kind of easy to satisfy those cravings of Red Lobster, but I used to always be like an Admiral's Feast kind of guy. Like everything is deep fried, clam strips, shrimp, other deep fried things. I think there was like popcorn chicken on there. I don't know. It was the everything deep fried platter with mashed potatoes and Cheddar Bay biscuits. Oh God, it's so good. Now, as an adult, I had a glass of white wine or 3. But when I was a kid, you just go, you get a Coke or a Pepsi, whatever they serve, and all that deep fried seafood goodness. Oh, so good. And then, they used to have, I think they were one of the first places to have like a chocolate molten cake, maybe. Some kind of fun dessert, which I'm not a dessert guy, but I would always get that because it's prom. But what's your Red Lobster order?
Well, I mean, when I started going to Red Lobster, I was a kid, and I did not care for seafood. So, of course, it was basically fried shrimp, and because that was the reason to go. And then, of course, as a teen, it was whenever they did all-you-can-eat fried shrimp because I got my money's worth as a teen at any all-you-can-eat restaurant. Like, it was just a thing of just because
you still kind of do.
I do, but yeah, like I really, I mean, like. People think I eat a lot now. As a teenager, I ate like you were going to take my food away from me. I could not eat fast enough.
Yeah.
And so, but like, as I really developed a taste for crab, I realized that the crab Alfredo there is just the best. Well, because
if they serve a pasta, Rob's gonna eat a pasta.
It's got pasta, it's got Alfredo, which win-win, and then it has just a ton of crab meat, and I don't have to crack a shell.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. I was like, oh, I'm lazy. I mean, I love crab legs, but also I don't like getting my hands dirty while I'm eating. I'm a pinkies up. Like, I get really weirded out when my fingertips are dirty. And or sticky.
You do.
Like, that's a kind of a tactile problem for me.
Yeah.
And so having crab legs that are basically just broken into Alfredo-y pasta, dream scenario. Plus, that serving is massive. You can eat like half of it and be full, and the other half actually reheats surprisingly well. Yeah. And then I always get a starter salad because their Caesar salads are
delicious,
cold, very well dressed, and just delicious. And then I eat a crazy amount of Cheddar Bay biscuits, and I often will do whatever I can to get on the server's good side to get a full bag plus some extras to take home.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at buttering them.
We always get extra biscuits to go.
Yeah. I mean, now I think it's kind of understood, but like I was that person of, it's like when you go to the Olive Garden and they're doing like the all-you-can-eat pasta, you get the extra bowl even if you're full, and then you just kind of like make a little divot as if you started to eat it so you can just take it home.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to play the game.
Yeah. And I especially like to go during fests, like when it is Shrimp Fest, all you can eat shrimp, Lobster Fest, You can get the like 3 different lobster tails and a steak or something.
Which I would like to think that maybe those restaurants closed all because of that one ad where they kept saying Crab Fest, but it sounded like Crap Fest. I'm gonna crap like no one's watching.
That's what it was.
That was literally the line. Like the first line was like, I'm gonna crab like nobody's watching. Which first off, that line makes no sense. Second, it literally sounded like you were saying I'm gonna crap like no one's watching. Which I hope no one's watching, but also why would you say that as the first line of an ad? Like you don't have to be in marketing to recognize that's a weird thing to say.
Stupid. But yeah, wherever you are, pour one out for Red Lobsters because a lot of Red Lobsters closed. It's an end of an era.
Or go support the ones that are still there just to do your part.
Lift them up.
Yeah, do your part.
Celebrate them while you can because they might be gone without notice very soon.
The chains, they're disappearing.
They are. But stop blaming millennials.
Right?
It's not our fault. We want to go to these restaurants.
We are doing our best.
Yeah. It's just, nobody wants to pay $85 for 2 small meals at a fast casual restaurant.
There are many industries I'm happy to let die and destroy. I'm happy to take many of them down. Red Lobster is not one of them.
Yeah. Stop it.
Right? Like, I'm fine with millennials killing diamonds.
Yeah.
Fine.
No
biggie.
I love that we have already officially killed the antiques industry, like as we know it, because I watch a lot of Antiques Roadshow during the week, don't I, babe?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite YouTube channels, but I watch a lot of Antiques Roadshow, and like we have, give me a high five, killed antiques.
Woo!
Like no one cares about antique furniture. The only thing now is like art and anything that has to do with like famous artists or famous people, and then like collectibles because now we're the adults that buy things. So now it's action figures and video games.
I have heard people say that Funkos are the millennial equivalent of the Hummels, which except the Funkos aren't really that valuable. But yeah, it is funny because like the I feel like every time I walk out into the living room and you're watching Antiques Roadshow, it's almost always like a tea cozy.
Yeah.
Just I don't understand how many tea cozies need to be valuated. What's the word? Like
valued.
Yeah, sure. There.
Appraised.
That's the word. I was like, valuated? You get the valuation? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and my favorite thing, and I've always wanted to start like a TikTok channel of this, or just do it as a TikTok video of all the people who thought they were going to get so much more. It is my favorite when people, it's still a large amount of money. They're like, oh, grandma's painting, it's worth $10,000. And then the people are like, oh, 10,000. Okay, 10,000. Great. Grandma would be so proud. And it's like, bitch, you thought they were going to say 75,000. I can read it all over your face. It's my favorite part of the road show.
Well, it's like American Idol when people are like, I'm going to be the next American Idol, and they cannot carry a tune in a bucket. Yeah. And they're not even really receptive to feedback. They're just digging their heels in crazy. It's like that. I used to watch that. It's funny. I can't watch the auditions anymore. It's just too much cringe.
We don't watch any of it anymore.
I know. I don't watch American Idol at all. But like, I used to literally just watch the auditions because I just wanted to see.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah.
I never watched the actual competition because I didn't care. But the auditions though were so good, and then I realized it was just kind of cruel.
Yeah, I had to stop watching the auditions. I would wait till top 10 because they were just cruel.
Yeah.
And they were like setting people up to fail, and it was just.
It's funny how much
I was
you
like,
and I.
This feels weird.
It's funny how much you and I are two different sides of the same coin, but we ended up on the same side anyway. Yeah. Because at the time I was like, oh, this is great TV, and then I just stopped watching when it got to be a real competition.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now it's just mean.
But all right, well, I don't think we ever said why we're recording on a Friday, and that's because a dear friend of ours is getting married this weekend, and Rob is the officiant.
Yeah, my first.
It's his first one. Yeah, he's registered with what?
Universal Life Church.
Universal Life Church. He's got the certificate and everything. He's such a cool guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the best part is when you get ordained, it says, like, print this out. And it has, like, several bullets that you should do next. Like, one of them is, like, order your official certificate from us. Second is, show this to your friends to impress them. So I've shown it to Todd many times.
He just walked out of the office pointing at it like this. And I was like, what? And he was like, just no words at all, and I had to read it, and I was like,
are you impressed?
Impressed, yes, yeah. Very much. I'm impressed that you finally did something I've been asking you to do for weeks.
He's such a nag. But yeah, it's like I wrote a service with some help, but like I customized
a ceremony. They're not dying.
Yeah.
It's a ceremony when it's good, and it's a service when they're dead.
But yeah, no, I wrote a ceremony with some help and just by lots of research. But yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun, and it's a casual wedding, which is good.
10 a.m. on a Sunday.
Which
And then a brunch reception, which, hello, brunch, my favorite meal of the day.
I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I think we love them too.
Oh, absolutely. They are such a good couple.
Our kind of wedding. So rehearsal tomorrow and then wedding on Sunday. So we're just gonna go and practice Rob's little script. It's so funny when we found out that Rob had to write a script and put a ceremony together. We kind of panicked a little bit, and then I was like, oh, it's almost like people have been doing this for 1 million years.
Right.
And so an easy Google search of sample wedding ceremony script, you get so many returns.
And then and then customize and make it your own. But it was one of those where it was just kind of dumber people than me or than I have done this for many years. Yeah. This is not, you're overthinking it, Rob. Just go with what feels right on this. And I already got my feedback from the couple on how to revise it, and I'm feeling good. It'll be fun.
Yeah, well, and it makes it a lot easier when it's a second marriage for both. So it's it's literally just ceremonial, just getting through it, but still want to have a good time.
Yeah,
and also religion's not involved. It makes it so much easier when there's no religion available.
It is a secular service,
which
ceremony.
I just learned secular means non-religious. My whole life did not know that. I thought secular meant religious.
Which is funny because I literally was able to bring up the way I learned that was from an episode of Aaron Sorkin's sitcom Sports Night. That's how I learned that.
Apparently had the same conversation.
Yeah. Josh Charles' character has a mild freakout after, I believe, he speaks to Hillary Clinton and praises her for her non-secular something or other. And then later he realizes when someone tells him that he did it wrong, and he was like, oh my God, I feel so stupid. I said that to her. And they were like, I'm sure based on the context of what you said, she understood what you actually meant. But that's one of those things that's very tricky.
Yeah.
Until you actually really know
it's
it.
Like prohibited. Prohibited is actually anti whatever fun you want to have. Come on. Stop making these words that mean other things. But all right. Well, having said that, thank you guys so much for listening and watching this week. It's been really great here, seeing all your comments and interacting with you guys. Tell your friends. A couple of people have already reached out to me and said they are spreading the gospel of GayFatFriend and Friends podcast, and people are enjoying it. So thank you so much for listening and spreading the word and liking and favoriting and sharing. And thanks to Rob for filling in as my co-host and joining me on this adventure.
Yeah, thank you to everyone for enjoying our breezy show.
Yeah, our show about nothing.
It's his breezy show. I'm just helping.
Our podcast about nothing. Yeah. But all right, well, let's go make some dinner. And we'll see you guys next week. We love you. Goodbye.